Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. How's your team coping with the cost of living pressures? Is there anything you can do to help support the financial well-being of your team? That's the question we ask money expert Jacqui Clarke. Jacqui's a chartered accountant and was a partner at Deloitte for 11 years. She's written a book on the topic, Stop Worrying About Money, Start Planning Now to Secure Your Financial Future. Chris Ashmore begins by asking Jacqui how employees are affected by financial stress.
I think it's really significant, Chris. It actually is a massive distraction for people. So I think it really influences performance at work. I think the worst case scenario, people suffer from anxiety around money worries, but actually I think the worst case scenario is when people might cut corners in their job as well. So that could be anything. It could be just being distracted, not doing their job properly. It could be that out of desperation or just sheer need that they've set up another business or a side hustle from their day job, which requires them perhaps to leave a little bit earlier than they used to. So I think it's all encompassing the impact that financial stress has on people and certainly what that brings to the workplace.
Should a boss be concerned if an employee has a side hustle?
Everyone's different. I like the idea that people are engaged in thinking more broadly about what it's like to run a business. So the nice side about someone running a side hustle is they kind of get you a bit better. The downside is perhaps that, again, with distraction, they may take their eye off the ball, perhaps in your business. So look, everyone's got a different view. I think it provides energy to people as well. So maybe it's the necessary energy to keep doing their day job. I do talk with a lot of people who do establish side hustles. So I think one of the important transitions is when it moves from being a side hustle to perhaps something more serious and you have to give up your day job. So that may be the downside for an employer if that's the case.
Well, if a boss has employees that are facing financial stress or got money worries, how do they help them with their financial well-being?
It's a tricky topic to broach because the natural thing that would come back at you as a boss is, well, I'd like to be paid more. Yeah. That will really help me out. But perhaps the other thing is understanding who people have around them. I raised the personal finance village. And I think it's a good place to start with an employee is understanding what type of support mechanisms they have around them when they've got money worries. So when I talk about the design of a personal finance village, it's about identifying people you trust who are appropriately qualified to give you advice about money. But actually the key thing is to really help you make non-emotional decisions about money and take that out of it so that you're actually thinking more broadly about why you need to spend the money or why you need to invest in a particular way. But I think it's important to make sure that you've got qualified people around you who know what they're doing.
And who would those qualified people be? Are these financial advisors?
They can be. And I think, Chris, just on that point in particular, there's been a number of pretty high-profile issues with financial advisors, and Melissa Caddick's one that's probably most well known to people. What I say to people is make sure that you do investigate and confirm people's qualifications. But yes, financial advisors are those types of people, accountants, lawyers. Sometimes just a business coach could be somebody who can at least help you think through how you build out your personal finance village. I personally have a coach and I think they're a part of that village for me. They inform perhaps how I might be working on my business or building my business. So they're part of it. I'm the numbers person anyway. But the reality is I still have an accountant. I still have a lawyer. I have people around me that can help me or guide me in making balanced decisions. So it's like having your own trusted advisor or your little board, a group of people that you can tap into, and preferably not your mate who's always got the latest and greatest investment idea.
That they just got off Google.
That one. Or they picked up off the front page of the AFR.
So just to be clear, a personal finance village are people like accountants and advisors and coaches, that kind of thing that you can lean towards and get their expertise.
Yeah, definitely. I just think that it's not something that you necessarily need to solve yourself. I do encourage people, of course, to do research. I think one of the most critical things is that people do research about their spending, what they're thinking of investing in, or businesses they're considering buying, you've got to do your due diligence. You need to do your research. So it's important that you understand it first and then go and seek advice from others.
Is it important that the boss and other people in the business are a bit more aware of what they talk about in the office? And by that I mean, if the boss has just bought himself a new BMW, or someone else is going to go on a 1-month trip to Europe, that might be seen not in the best light by those that might be struggling with their finances.
Yes, look, this is something I'm really in tune with, having been a partner in a big professional service firm for 20 years. The car park was the start of those conversations. You'd know who had a new car. You'd know when people were away. I do think that it's problematic, though, as a boss flaunting these types of things. I mean, you can't not drive in and park at the office if you're lucky enough to have those types of facilities. But I often hear from people who work in businesses, oh yeah, the boss has just been away and X, Y, or Z. It's pretty hard these days not to be transparent, though, because I think we're so focused on flexibility. I can work anywhere. If I'm going to go to the US and ski in January, or I'm going to go to run with the bulls, I don't know, or hike a trail, then you can contact me. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but I do think that offering people the opportunity to grow in their roles and seek greater remuneration through taking on more is part of the opportunity, I guess.
That was Jacqui Clarke, chartered accountant and author of Stop Worrying About Money. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.